afternoon, guys. Got you on handheld mode, so it's gonna be shaky again. Got her stuffed over here. This is still the 36, but move the front end forward 2 inches. This is as far as you can go on a rough country lift, unless you made another lower control on. The threaded insert is about 2 inches long, so we got 2 inches of threads in here. And what I did was the threads were going past into the tube. That thing's long, so I just come back into 2 inches where we got a full contact of threads all the way through to the end of the insert, and that's what we had. The drive shaft I can make because it doesn't turn all the time in the front. This is what we come up with. Just moved it ahead 2 inches. I knew it would clear once I did that. And the back is that's the 40 still on the back. It makes it look smaller when it comes up. But it's clear and coming down too, which was another concern of mine, but it is. Get back over here where you can see how far up it is. It's kind of hard to tell on camera how far up it is. But I got the tire off the ground, so yeah, with the weight on the front pushing down on that side, say if this was picked up, there'd be more pressure on it. But we're going to bump stop the back out to where it doesn't go up and hit. But the front's what I was worried about because of the turning radius. I made that last video last night about a week ago, and I hadn't did anything. I hadn't told y'all I did all this. I did most of this today. But just want to make a short video and show you guys. That's lock to lock. All the track bars all straight. Everything's good. The drag link's not rubbing, hitting, any of that stuff. And I think she's gonna work. I'm gonna try my damnedest not to mess with my armor, but if we have to, we will trim this a little bit, because you know, if you're pushing on something, it's gonna want to push back on the tire a little bit from the play in the bushings or the movement in the rubber. But we're not gonna do nothing drastic anyway if we don't have to. But I got the shock marked right there, so we can use that as a reference of how high it goes. Shit, I had it up a little bit higher a while ago, it looks like, before I... Anyway, we paint marker on it. So when we let it down, we'll have a reference of how high it's going up. That's all I did. Move the front end forward. I got a longer drive shaft in the back behind the shop. I'll make a longer drive shaft for the front, but I think it's going to work. Well, I know it's going to work. Now, I was going to tell some of you guys too, these aren't the wheels we're going to use. These wheels are 7-inch wide wheels. We're putting 10-inch wide wheels on it, which will bring this bow out of the tire a little bit. And the back spacing, we're going to measure the back spacing, get the proper back spacing. This is pretty good. This has got a 2-inch wheel spacer on it, so I'll have to measure and see what it is. And we may go with this back spacing when we buy the new wheels. But they're going to be 10 inches wide, so it's going to bring that down some. Now the tread will be a little bit taller, but not by much though. These Super Swampers don't have real tall tread. But as far as the back goes, I think we're going to be fine. We're going to get the new tires in whenever I order them, and we're going to get them on the wheels, get them all set on here, all 4 of them, and then we'll do this all over again, and we'll build our bump stops and stop it to where it doesn't hit the chassis. But this is pretty good right here. That's about 2 foot off the ground. I measured it. I think it's 22 inches. And that's head height. That's probably the top of my head right there. So that's about, shit, that's close to 5'10". Something like that. That's pretty good. Anyway, put you on the tripod and set it down. I moved the front end forward. I'm going to show you all that, what it looks like from the side. Two plastic pallets. They hold a lot of weight. Yeah, I'm shirtless wonder today. It's hot. You pause, y'all, get that out from under there, and I'll turn you back on. Still got neon in my bag. Y'all tell the difference? It kind of leveled it out too, as far as the ride height of the Jeep. It was a little higher in the front because, you know, the more you stand that spring up like that, the more it's going to be, you know, higher lifted. It's a little bit forward now, but all the steering arms and stuff, the drag link, everything's pretty good straight now. It's not no pushing back at an angle with it. The back hasn't really changed yet, but it gave us a lot more clearance right there. That's going to work. I figured it would, guys. I just that video from last night, like I said, it was like a week ago when I made that, and I've had a lot going on and haven't had time to mess with this thing. We're going to get the new wheels and tires ordered with the correct back spacing. Y'all can throw me your recommendations on the back spacing. I'm going to measure what it's got now and go from there with it. But I don't think it's going to be a real big issue with the back spacing. I could probably just use what's here with the 2-inch spacers on that, and it'll work. And then if it don't work, if we mess up with the back spacing a little bit, there's no problem. We can get a 1/2 inch, 1 inch, whatever back, wheel spacer and put on it. It won't be no big deal. I'd actually like to have a wheel spacer on the front. See, that's something else I hadn't told y'all either. That made me think of it. With that hub conversion on there, that locking hub conversion, it moves the front end. The front tires are sticking out about a 1/2 inch. Maybe not a 1/2 inch, but I'd have to measure it. But if you stand behind the Jeep and you look at the front tires versus the rear, they're sticking out past the rear like an old Chevrolet would do, because of that locking hub. It's so long, the spindle is, that it kicks the tire out away from everything. So I knew it was going to be better than if you had a factory hub on there with a factory wheel bearing, because it's not sucked in there so far. It's sticking out already, so it puts it out further, gives you more clearance on your turn radius. I mean, it's not hitting, the tire's not hitting the control arm or none of that stuff. The only thing I see that we're going to have to do, you know, since we did this, is that drive shaft. But it's okay, I got one back there. I can build one for the front pretty easy because it doesn't turn all the time. It only turns going in the trails when I got the hubs locked. But that ought to put to bed some questions I had on the last video, you know, about it not going to turn and stuff. Yeah, when I made that video, yeah, it wouldn't turn. Before I moved the front end forward, you couldn't turn it at all. It would hit the rock slider. But I knew it was going to be that way. I just was trying to, you know, see if it would go up into the fender well without hitting the snorkel or hitting any of it. That was my first time jacking it up to see what it was going to do, period. So, but we're going to keep doing stuff like we just did. I'll get the new tires in and the new wheels, and then we'll do all that over again on every corner. I can't jack this side up and stuff this side, which is what you really want to do. I want to be able to turn the tire though, so I can't get the jack on that side over there because of the way the Jeep's setting. I got to move everything, and I didn't want to have to move everything in the yard to get it over here where the car's at to set it up. But when we get the new tires, we'll get it over there where the car's at in a nice wide open spot, and we'll put the tires on there and we'll jack it up and stuff them the other way with all the weight of the Jeep pushing down on the tire. And then we'll keep doing that all around until we get our measurements right, what we need the bump stops to be. And then I'll make the bump stops a little bit adjustable when I build them, and then we'll go from there with it until we get it right, until it ain't touching. It's going to work though without lifting it. I don't want to lift it anymore. It's just too much money, you know, more money to put into it. It'll be another couple thousand or more than that by the time you do drive shafts. And the rear angle of the drive shaft I've got perfect where it doesn't vibrate. I got my pinion angle right where it doesn't vibrate or anything. I don't want to mess with none of that if I don't have to. Now if it breaks, twists off the back shaft coming out of the output shaft coming out of the transfer case, then we'll do something with the drive shaft and stuff like that. But I'm still waiting on that to happen. So, but anywho, I guess that's it. All we did was move the front end forward 2 inches. And I still got to get in there and lock it down. I moved the socket from the other side to this side. It still won't come off. We're gonna let it ride, man. Maybe it'll be there 20 years from now. It's seized on there pretty good, and I ain't gonna beat on it. It's just whatever. Maybe one day we'll lose it in the trail, and it'll be a Where's Waldo search and rescue mission for a 7/8 socket or 22mm, whatever that one is. Alright guys, I guess that's it. I said in that video, the last video about the e-manuals, it's a thing. I got a company contact me about service manuals on Jeeps, and it's the name of it's e-manual because it's an electronic manual, and it's really detailed. And I'm going to put it up here in a little while. I'm trying to get some stuff straight on it, and with the advertisers and YouTube and all that stuff. But y'all take it easy, guys. We'll see what we can get into next weekend on this thing. But now everybody can rest a little bit easier with the big tires. They are going to clear in the front, and if they don't, we got a grinder, plasma cutter, welder. We got everything to do it to fix it. So y'all take it easy and have a good one. Bye.